Hi, welcome to Senior Strategies. We are so excited to have Alex Modric with Pheonix Pro Management. He does things to modify the home to make it safer for seniors, from anything from grab bars in the shower to Amazon devices in the home so they can see who's knocking at their front door, to widening hallways, to widening doorways, to hoarding situations, to pest problems. There's a wide variety of things they do, making a step-in shower or a walk-in shower versus removing a bathtub and taking that out. So be sure to listen in, and if you've got any questions, feel free to post them on our Facebook or Instagram. We'd love to get ideas from what everyone has to say. Can't wait for you to see it. Welcome to Senior Strategies. I am your host, Amy Decker, Director of Client Services for Senior Helpers. We are so glad that you were able to join us today for lively conversations with guests that can offer you the tools, strategies, and support so that you can successfully stay on your journey as a caregiver. We hope that you enjoy yourself and find just what you needed to get you through today. So welcome to Senior Strategies. I am Amy Decker, the host of your show, and today we have on a guest that I just recently met at a networking event. His name is Alex Modric, and he is with Pheonix Pro Management. And his passion is to keep our seniors living at home for as long as they can, safely and gracefully. And so I was happy to meet you, Alex, and excited to have you on the program. Why don't you tell us all a little bit about who you are and how you got into this?
Sure. First of all, my name is Alex Modric, and I'm the owner and CEO of Pheonix Pro Management. I basically got into the business through my family. My grandmother had owned a accessibility transportation company back in the 90s. And since then, I went to New York University for psychology. And while I was there, I heard that my parents had their own accessibility services company, and I joined their company. After a few years getting out of college, I realized how important of a need of having a reliable home modification company was, especially for the state of Florida, especially for long-term care Medicaid insurances and government agencies. So I took where my parents had left off and created Pheonix about 4 to 5 years ago.
Great.
And I've been doing it since.
Great.
And it's been an incredible journey and adventure, a lot of lessons learned, but also a lot of people that we've been able to help.
And I think you go a bit above and beyond. So beyond even home modifications, you do other things too. So tell us more about what your services are and how you really do stand out amongst others, because you do a lot of other things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, we definitely do. I mean, our approach is anything dealing with accessibilities. So what I mean by that is if you have a member in their home and let's say they need a ramp to get into the front door, that's one of our services that we complete. But let's say you get into that front door and they have bed bugs. No caregiver, no OT, no PT, nobody's going to want to get into that house.
Right.
Because the member has bed bugs. So we also do the chore that's involved with bed bug treatments, and we also do the pest control.
Wow.
Not only that, I mean, we do work for the Department of Children's and Families Adult Protective Services Unit. So you think of the easiest type of chore, which is homemaker, and then you think of the worst, which is adult protective services. We do the adult protective services. That's what we really specialize in. That's what we're good at. And it's very unique to find a provider like us that is able to check all the compliance boxes that a regular, let's say, hoarder company can't, but also our value and the cost it takes us to do the service is probably a third of the market value because we're working with government monies.
Right. Give me an example of what you do when you get an adult protective services. Like, walk me down a road of what one of those stories are. Like, what do you walk into and what do you have to do to make it better?
Sure. First, we have to depend on the amazing representatives of the DCF APS unit, which are DCF investigators. And they will reach out to us and they will request a quote for our service. So they give us some information, and I've educated them and taught them over the years, always include a member's name, their address, and contact information. After that, if they have any photos, it's wonderful because it helps us try and estimate the cost of our services. But we generally like to go out and meet the member, meet the DCF investigator, and we review the environment, understanding what are the key areas that need to be cleaned. What are, is there furniture that we have to remove? Is there a yard we have to clean up? We calculate the amount of rooms we have to clean, how high the garbage is, and if it's a regular cleaning and decluttering job, or if it's a biohazard cleanup. Some of these are really bad cases.
Oh, some of them are horrible. I've watched hoarders on TV before, and I think I can't imagine, number one, allowing my house to get to that point, but I think a lot of it is psychological things going on in people's lives, A, but B, having them to go in and clean that up and organize it. Wow.
Definitely. Yeah, there is a bedside manner that's required in the services that we do, because there's a lot of members that don't want to be in the scenarios, and there's a lot of members that can't help themselves being in those scenarios. So we have to depend on the coordination between the DCF investigator, whether it's the member is not there or the member is there, depends on the psychological state of the person. But our main focus is creating what I call an egress, where it's just creating a pathway in the person's home. But we generally like to just clean up the entire house and make it brand new. And that's really it. Once everything gets approved from DCF, then we go out and, like I said, we coordinate with the DCF investigator. We have our chore teams that are level 2 background screens. A lot of contractors out there don't have that requirement, where ACA and the different government agencies require every single person that is contacting, communicating, meeting a member, they need to be level 2 background screen. So every single person on our job site is that, as well as trained in in elder abuse training, as well as HIPAA compliance. So everyone understands what they're getting into and how important our work is. And then once we're there, we get right to our business. I tell all of my installers and all my team members, you're doing this so you can earn a living, but you can only do that if you're busy. Right. So we're in and out. It's no type of dilly-dallying. We're very busy when we're there, and we usually finish our work within a day or two.
Wow. And then what about if they need other modifications? Do you do the actual construction, say, of putting a ramp on the front door, or say they've got a lip on their shower, they're not able to step into the shower, or they want to get rid of their bathtub altogether and just get a walk-in shower? Do you do those things as well?
Yes, and that's another thing that makes this really neat, because not only are we licensed general contractors, which gets a lot of people into the business, but we're also licensed plumbers. And what that means to be a licensed plumber, for a lot of the viewers out there when it comes to construction law, is that I'm allowed to provide a warranty for that plumbing work that I'm doing. I'm not going to sub it out. I have the actual license. I have the actual knowledge and training to complete all that plumbing work you talked about. When I'm making a step-in shower into a roll-in shower, I have to drop the drain. I have to pitch it right. Or taking out a tub. There's a lot of plumbing that's involved. One of the things that we've done, especially compared to other general contractors out there, is that we always want to remove the ADA shower valve, because I can't tell you the amount of work that we do in homes that were made in the 80s, which means that shower valve's been there for 40 years, 50 years, and it needs to be replaced. And we include that in our scope of work, because it's just like, all right, what is everyone not like in construction, unless you're the contractor? It's unforeseen condition. You don't like that. So we try and avoid that by including it in our scope of work.
What I get from you then is, when you walk into the house, you could be dealing with multiple family members, where you've got several people living in the home, maybe with the senior, to keep them safe and keep the senior safe. Or you could be walking into where just one person lives on their own, or a couple even by themselves. So you probably have to take all of those dynamics into consideration when you're going in to say, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to get it done. So it goes smoothly.
You created a perfect scenario, because you actually teed me up to one of my favorite metaphors, which is, you have that scenario, you have the complicatedness of the scenario, where you have the caregiver that wants it this way, but then you have the member that needs it this way, and then sometimes they conflict, unfortunately. Then you have the angel that is a part of what makes my job so beautifully rewarding, which is the case manager, which is the DCF investigator, which is the person that goes, all right, let's get rid of the nonsense. We're not going to put golden grab bars in. We're focused on the medical necessity of this person. That's why the government is involved.
Right.
So let's get right down to what is needed.
They can
Let's be
simplify it
open.
and clean it all up for you to make it happen in an easier way. And then it's
Yeah,
not you saying it. It's not you saying, well, really, this is what we should do. They're going to
yeah,
say, this is what's happening.
yeah.
That's
And
great that
this
you have
this
that.
this is what the insurance's medical director is saying. And it also makes the member feel really comfortable
Yes.
because they're not just dealing with the contractor. It's like, hey, pay me, I want to leave. Like I get zero payment from the member.
Mhm.
It's all that's funded from the government agency. So they go, okay, I know whatever's happening is compliant. I know this person has gone through a vetting process, so I don't have to second guess what they're doing. And I know if I do see, from the member's perspective, if I do see something that's gonna, make me second guess something, or if I doubt something, I could just call my case manager up
Right.
and just, hey, I have a concern. Case manager calls us and we deal with it and make it all
So
easy.
that was probably my next question is too, then, is how do they pay for it? So you basically, you're not, there is no cash going to and from. This is strictly working with.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. So,
Uh-huh.
on our website, I have a resources page, and that's basically something I've been dealing and adding to and really researching even before I created Pheonix, which
And
are
what is
all of
that website?
so our website is pheonixproinc.net. And it's the resources page, and that resources page is 99% of our clients.
Great.
And if I was going to take bubbles, and if I was going to create different categories, large categories of the clients that we work with, the biggest category is long-term care Medicaid. And long-term care Medicaid approves and funds home modifications and approves and funds enhanced chore and pest control. And long-term care Medicaid is Sunshine Health, Florida Community Care, Simply, Humana, Molina.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
a
great.
lot of those, yeah.
Wow.
And then the second bubble is the government agencies. So you have DCF, Adult Protective Services Unit.
Mhm.
They have funding that we are able to utilize. We have the area agencies on aging. We're able to work with them, and they have lead agencies under them that has funding, and we're able to coordinate and get the services done. We also work with Center for Independent Living. There's 11 centers throughout the state. They sometimes get grants. They sometimes get fundraising done, and we're able to use those funds for a member that they've
Wow.
deemed necessary that
Mhm.
needs that service. And then the third bubble is PACE. PACE is it's up and coming. It's PACE centers, and they have a list of members that they're adding.
Mhm.
But we just became an affiliate member for their statewide organization, and we're also able to pull from
Love the
government
PACE program.
things.
I
Yeah.
love the PACE program.
Yeah.
Now, what about if you go to a situation, especially if DCF has been called, and that home is no longer viable for a person to live in that home until you clean it up? Where do they go from there? Like, do you find family members? Are you able to find them housing until they can find it? Or it's basically they got to go somewhere until you clean it up?
That's the beauty of working with the clients that we work with, because that's why I call them angels, is that I'm able to go in and do my job and leave.
And they take care of the
And
rest.
and they take care of the rest. The
That's great.
DCF investigator goes, all right, Alex, Pheonix, I need you to go and do this cleaning. Or for example, fumigation. No
Right.
one can be home for 3 or 4 days.
Right. Right.
So the DCF investigator goes, all right, Pheonix, just give me the information that's necessary for when the member can't be there. I'll figure it out. I'll put them in a hotel. I'll make sure they're nice and comfortable. You go and do your job, and then you finish and you leave. And then that's it.
That's great. That is great. That saves you so much work because you could
So,
have people that are going, what am I supposed to do now? I can't be in the house for the next 3 days, where the case
yeah,
manager takes care of the whole thing.
yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, find out more about what your services are,
Mhm.
is there a, like your website, you want that? Do you want to offer a phone number? What's the best way to get in touch with you to learn more about what you do?
The other way is just to hit the contact us page. There's a form that you can fill out. We get an email. It gets over to me, and you want to learn more. You want to learn how you can get your member the services that they need funded, or maybe you're part of an agency. And again, there's that interaction where it's like, I didn't know
Right.
Pheonix existed.
Mhm.
I would love to learn more so that I can add them to our provider network. Because that's honestly what happened with DCF. I met them 3 to 4 years ago at a conference. and they were like, "Oh my God, like this
It's
is
so
a great
great.
resource. Let's
Yeah.
make it work." Yeah.
Because you'll do, so your services are as simple as and as most difficult as. Like, what is the most simple thing that you can go in and do, and what is the most difficult, challenging job that you do?
That's a great question. The most simplest is always grab bars. Grab bar is the easiest.
Yeah.
Then the most complicated would probably be um the remodeling that's required.
Yeah.
So like let's say like a tub conversion, that would be the most complicated. We do window repairs, we do home repairs. Generally the projects aren't too big. The only time that we get like a really big project is we have remodeling in a bathroom. We might have to do some kitchen remodeling as well to make the kitchen more accessible.
Mhm.
But generally speaking, it's like big ramps, remodeling a bathroom. That's usually our areas that we stick in because that's what's really medically necessary.
Right.
Uh, like I said, those are the clients that we work with is what's medically necessary, what do they need yesterday to make their home
Yeah.
safer, accessible.
And sometimes bug and like rat and mice infestation, that can also cause holes through walls, and there's probably lots of patches that you have to do just fix that up to make it livable again, depending on how long they've had the infestation.
Oh yeah, I mean, for
Yikes.
rodents, like you have rodent exclusion and rodent trapping. And exclusion is, I'm not kidding, like a rat will go on your roof and then go through your roof. You have to
Ugh.
fill the holes. And trapping is just normal trapping of the rodents. But bed bugs, it can be complicated. If I
Oh
don't do a
yeah.
fumigation, I got to make sure I clean the clothes. I got to make sure I dry the clothes. I bag them up. You can't
Mhm.
open the clothes for another couple of days because
Mhm.
that's how the bugs hatch and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's what's really cool is that, and I say cool, and it's a funny way to describe it, but what's really beneficial for our clients and the agencies that we work with is that we're a one-stop shop. It's
You
just
are.
hey,
You really are. Yeah.
whatever you need. Don't, I had a meeting with Florida Community Care earlier today, and I met with the whole state, and it was an absolute blessing to have the opportunity. But I went to them and I was like, we're here to make your job easier.
Yes.
So you have a member that needs the services that they need. You can go to Pheonix and get it all done and barely have to kind of like lift your finger because we're going to update you. We're going to send you information. We're going to let you know when the job is done.
Hmm.
Uh, we have people in the company that are there just to be called, just to be
Yeah.
reached out to when you have a question.
Mhm.
Because every person I speak to, the number one thing that they need is communication.
Yeah. And it's an emotional situation. It can be, especially for family members too, so that there's a lot of hand holding involved. And I know even with senior helpers, just putting a caregiver into the home, the first few visits, it's like a honeymoon time. Like there's a lot of hand holding and they're nervous. And so anytime you're dealing with somebody's parent, especially if DCF has been called, there's, like you said, you've got that angel that can do all that family dynamics that you don't have to deal with that. But there's so much involved when you're trying to work with the senior and make better living conditions, because you got
Yeah.
a lot of other people that you're dealing with. But you honestly, when I went through your website and saw all that you do, truly you are above and beyond than any other company that I've ever even heard of. So I was
Yeah.
excited to have you on just so that you can, most of our viewers are caregivers that are either bottled up at home living with their children or their spouse or a family member, that they don't get a chance to get out and go to networking events where I met you. They don't get a chance to hear about companies that can come in and do 15 different things within the home to keep them happy and safe. So I thought you were a must, that we had to have you on the show to let people know to go to Pheonix and go through the pages to find out what they need to do to get that done. I love that you deal with Area Agency on Aging and PACE and probably 211. I'm not even sure if you're familiar with the 211 hotline, but that's another one too that people can call into 211 and say, we've got a hoarding situation. We've got, our next door neighbor is not living in good conditions.
Mhm.
It's a great one-stop shop, even with 211, to get on there. Listen, if you're not on it, I'm going to make sure you get on it.
What's funny is every week or every day sometimes 211. I don't know what that is. No idea.
Great. It's great.
And like 3 years ago, you could have said like DCF. I'm like, I don't know what you're
Is
talking
that
about, but
right?
that's what happens. That's how the
Right.
communication
And they
goes
were
on.
one of the first guests on my show. So if you go on their website to 211, it is anything for any age, anybody in need at all. And it's nationwide. And it's anything. You could be anything from suicidal to sad, that I need a job. I need someone just to do a well check on my mom and dad once a week and make sure they're okay. And they'll do little phone calls to them. But in your case, my goodness, I mean, there's so many times people will call us because we're senior helpers asking us to do what you do because they just figured we help seniors. So I'm happy to have you as a resource now to be.
Yeah, and that's probably one of my favorite things to do is that when I do get those cold calls or I go to conferences and I meet someone that's just like, I don't know what to do. I don't work for an agency that has funding. I'm at a loss. And I've been at a loss for the last couple of months. I've had this member that's really needed this and they're such a sweetheart and they deserve it, but I don't know what to do. And I just, these are the resources. Is it going to come back to me?
Yeah.
Rarely, it never really comes back to me. It's just, hey, this is a resource. This is how you try to figure out if they're eligible. I know the requirements, and see if they get it and see if they're able to sign up for the program.
Yeah.
You know, you go down the resource list, you're going to learn about vocational rehabilitation. You're going to learn about brain spinal cord injury program. You're going to learn about the AAAs. You're going to learn about LTC Medicaid. There's probably viewers on this, you know, for this podcast, so they're going to be listening and watching, and they're going to go, wait, my mom has LTC Medicaid. She needs some grab bars. Are you telling me that all she needs to do is give a call to the case manager and go, hey, I need these grab bars and medically necessary. And in a month, I could get the grab bars in the shower without paying anything? I didn't know that.
It's great. Great. This type of industry, dealing with these types of people, you have to be compassionate, you have to be empathetic, and you have to be in it for the well-being of the person that you're helping. It can't always be a paycheck. It's got to be, you know, you're doing something better for somebody else. And that in itself, in so many cases, is payment all alone. So
I mean, that's one of the reasons why case managers are case managers.
Yes.
It's not an incredibly well-paying job, but they're there because
rewarding.
You want to help people.
Yeah.
I'm here to make helping people easier, to educate you, to make a process. Oh my God, I got to deal with a contractor. He's got to come and demo things. That sounds terrifying. I don't know who it is. I didn't even know this service. Yeah, big deal. And all of my team members are educated and trained, so it's a nice handheld type of process, and it's just. And
you put so many of the puzzle pieces together of things they don't have to worry about anymore. You can get it all done at one time. So I think it's great. I am so happy that you were able to take a little bit of time and educate us on what you do and how you do it. And I think it's remarkable what you do. If any of you viewers have other questions, feel free to post them on our Facebook page, on our Instagram. This will be viewed on all of the social medias, or YouTube as well. So if you've got any questions, send them my way. I'll be sure to send them off so you can have every answer that you're looking for. But we sure appreciate all that you do. And I'm sure just anybody out there right now that has used your services probably praises your glory, because you've made such a difference in their life.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an incredible opportunity. I really
we appreciate all you do. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our show. We hope that you found an answer to a question or a resource that can assist you. Our goal is to keep all of you that are caregivers informed, refreshed, and heard. We're here for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. We have all the resources that you'll need. Please follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages for the up-and-coming shows and events and support groups. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your support.